A new year always feels full of promise. It's like the dawn of a new day, where the possibilities are endless and the air is filled with hope. The first light of the year brings with it a sense of renewal, a chance to wipe the slate clean and start afresh. It's a chance to start fresh, to dream big, and to set new goals. We find ourselves jotting down resolutions, sketching out plans, and envisioning the future with a sense of excitement. The garden, often a reflection of our inner selves, becomes a canvas for these dreams. For many of us, those dreams involve our gardens. We imagine the joy of working the soil, the satisfaction of planting seeds, and the thrill of watching them grow. Gardening becomes more than a hobby. It's a journey of growth and transformation. We envision vibrant blooms, bountiful harvests, and peaceful green spaces. The garden is a sanctuary, a place where we can escape the hustle and bustle of daily life and reconnect with nature. We flip through gardening magazines inspired by photos of perfect landscapes. These images fuel our imagination, giving us ideas and aspirations for our own little piece of paradise. Maybe this is the year our tomatoes will be the envy of the neighborhood. We picture ourselves harvesting baskets full of juicy, ripe tomatoes, sharing them with friends and family. Or maybe we'll finally create that charming cottage garden we've always wanted. A garden filled with quaint pathways, colorful flowers, and whimsical features that transport us to a simpler, more idyllic time. But as the saying goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Despite our best efforts, life has a way of throwing curveballs. Unexpected challenges arise, and our well-laid plans can quickly fall by the wayside. And sometimes, our gardening resolutions can feel a bit like that. We find ourselves overwhelmed by the sheer amount of work, frustrated by setbacks, and disheartened by the gap between our dreams and reality. We start out strong, full of enthusiasm, but life gets busy. The weather doesn't cooperate, and those grand plans, they can start to feel overwhelming. The initial excitement fades, and we're left grappling with the demands of everyday life. Yet, amidst the chaos, there's a lesson to be learned. Gardening teaches us patience, resilience, and the importance of nurturing our dreams, no matter how challenging the journey may be. One of the most common gardening resolutions is the early start. Every year, countless gardeners, both novice and experienced, make a promise to themselves. They vow to get ahead of the game, to be more organized, and to finally have that picture-perfect garden they've always dreamed of. We tell ourselves, this year, I'm going to get a jump on things. We envision lush, green gardens bursting with life, all because we started early. The excitement of planning, the thrill of seeing those first seeds sprout, it's all part of the allure. I'll start my seeds early, get my beds prepped, and be miles ahead of the game. We imagine ourselves harvesting fresh vegetables and vibrant flowers long before our neighbors. The anticipation builds as we meticulously prepare our garden beds and plant our seeds in trays. But then, life throws a curveball. Unexpected events can derail even the best-laid plans. Maybe it's a sudden work project that demands all your attention, or perhaps it's a family emergency that takes you away from your garden. Maybe it's a surprise home repair or an unexpected cold snap. These unforeseen challenges can leave your garden neglected and your early start feeling like a distant memory. The weather, too, can be unpredictable, with late frosts or unseasonal snowfalls catching you off guard. Suddenly, those carefully sown seeds are languishing on a windowsill, starved for sunlight. The seedlings that once held so much promise now struggle to survive, their growth stunted by lack of proper conditions. It's disheartening to see your hard work seemingly go to waste. And sometimes, nature has its own timeline. Despite our best efforts, plants and flowers have their own schedules. They may bloom earlier or later than expected, throwing off our carefully planned gardening calendar. I remember one year when my hellebores decided to bloom weeks earlier than usual. It was a beautiful surprise, but it also meant that my pruning and maintenance schedule had to be completely rethought. My carefully planned pruning schedule? Out the window. The garden quickly became a chaotic mess, with plants growing out of control and my plans in disarray. It was a stark reminder that nature doesn't always follow our rules. The lesson here? Flexibility is key. Gardening teaches us to adapt, to go with the flow, and to embrace the unexpected. It's a journey of learning and growth, not just for our plants, but for ourselves as well. It's great to have a plan, but be prepared to adjust as needed. Embrace the surprises, learn from the setbacks, and remember that every gardening season is a new opportunity to grow and improve. We've all seen those magazine-worthy gardens. You know the ones I'm talking about: perfectly manicured lawns, flowers blooming in flawless rows, not a weed in sight. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking our gardens should look that way too. But here's the secret. Those perfect gardens, they're often just a snapshot in time. Behind every stunning photo is a lot of hard work and maybe even a little bit of Photoshop magic. The truth is, gardens are living, breathing things. They're meant to be a little wild, a little imperfect. Embrace the imperfections. Those weeds might just be wildflowers adding a touch of whimsy. Wanting to garden organically is a wonderful goal. It's better for the environment, better for our families, and just plain feels good. But going completely organic overnight can be a big leap. It can feel overwhelming, like learning a whole new language. And when we get overwhelmed, it's easy to get discouraged and give up. Start small. Maybe this year you focus on composting, or maybe you experiment with natural pest control methods. Small changes add up over time. And who knows, you might just discover a new favorite gardening technique along the way. Turning resolutions into lasting habits. Here's the thing about resolutions. They're easy to make, but much harder to keep. Every year, millions of people set ambitious goals, hoping to transform their lives. Yet, by the time February rolls around, many of these resolutions have already been forgotten. Why? Because they often lack one crucial ingredient: habit. Resolutions are like seeds. They need the right conditions to grow. Without the nurturing environment of consistent habits, they wither away. Think about it. How many times have you resolved to exercise more or eat healthier, only to fall back into old routines? It's a common experience. We start with enthusiasm, but without a plan to integrate these changes into our daily lives, we revert to what's comfortable. It's not because we lack willpower. In fact, most of us have the determination to make changes. The problem lies in the approach. We aim for big changes without setting up the small, sustainable steps needed to achieve them. It's because we haven't changed our habits. Habits are the building blocks of our daily lives. They shape our actions and ultimately our outcomes. To make lasting changes, we need to focus on creating new, positive habits that support our goals. The same goes for gardening. Just like any other resolution, gardening goals require consistent effort and the formation of good habits. Whether it's watering plants regularly or weeding the garden, these small actions add up over time. Instead of making vague resolutions, get specific. Vague goals are hard to measure and even harder to achieve. Specific goals, on the other hand, give you a clear target to aim for. Instead of saying, "I'm going to weed more," set a goal to weed for 15 minutes every other day. This way, you have a clear, manageable task that you can incorporate into your routine. Put it on your calendar. Scheduling your tasks makes them a priority. When you see it written down, it becomes a commitment, not just a wish. Treat it like an important appointment you can't miss. Consistency is key. By showing up every day, even for a short time, you build momentum. Over time, these small actions become habits, and those habits lead to lasting change. The power of realistic expectations. We all want to achieve our goals, but setting unrealistic expectations is a recipe for disappointment. When we set the bar too high, it's easy to get discouraged and give up. So let's be kind to ourselves. Instead of aiming for a complete garden makeover, choose one or two smaller projects to focus on. Maybe you want to build a raised bed or finally tackle that overgrown corner. Remember, progress, not perfection, is what matters. Celebrate the small victories along the way. Embracing the journey, not just the destination. Gardening is a process, not a destination. There will be triumphs and setbacks, sunny days and rainy ones. The key is to learn to enjoy the journey, every step of the way. Don't be afraid to experiment. Try new plants, new techniques. Not everything will thrive, and that's okay. Each season offers valuable lessons. And remember, gardening is meant to be enjoyable. Put on some music, pour yourself a glass of iced tea, and savor the feeling of the sun on your skin and the dirt under your fingernails. Section 8. Finding joy in the growth. So as you set your gardening goals for the year ahead, remember this. Be kind to yourself, be flexible, and most importantly, have fun. Embrace the imperfections, celebrate the successes, and find joy in the process of watching your garden grow. Because at the end of the day, that's what truly matters. Happy gardening, everyone! If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share for more gardening tips.